Hey everybody, welcome back. Sorry it's been a bit since I uploaded my last video. Some things going on, good things, so that's good. I was supposed to upload this yesterday, I think, but it's Sunday now, and I was working on some things yesterday, so which I'll share with you in a future update. But we last left off right before I went into treatment, so we'll start with that. Let's see. So I was really scared of actually going to treatment because I I was like, oh man, because I heard a lot of bad stuff about it. Ooh, excuse me, the works. But I was like, I didn't have anything else to do or anywhere to go. I didn't have any money. I was broke. I was homeless, and yeah. Oh, also, I didn't mention this in the last story, but the the foreclosed house that I was living in, one of the I think in the last like week or two that I was actually there, the home inspectors came to I guess reappraise the house to do something with it. I don't know. And they had I saw them and they were like, yeah, I don't know what you're doing here, but you're gonna have to go soon. They actually weren't like super assholes about it, but yeah. So I knew my days were numbered at that point anyway, and it just so happens to turn out that a couple weeks later things transpired as they did, and now here I am on my way to treatment. So, when I first got to the intake center, which is what you have to do before you actually go to the inpatient, to fill out paperwork and everything like that, I felt terrible already because, as you guys know, I was still addicted to opiates and stuff, and I haven't used in a few days. And when when you don't use, you start to get sick. It's called being dope sick, but you just feel terrible. Like upset stomach, vomiting. It depends. It varies per person, but it sucks. And so I filled out whatever paperwork that there was for me to fill out, which honestly wasn't much because I didn't have any paperwork to give them, and everything that I had to get like health insurance and all that stuff. We had to take care of later down the line. But thank God, health insurance did cover that place, which was great, which makes it really accessible to a lot of people. Excuse me. But so we finished doing the paperwork, and the van came to pick us up. Because this was like, it was like far from the the intake center, which is actually their outpatient program. So we get in the van, and I don't think I talked to anybody because I was like, damn, what am I gonna do? And I was already thinking about how I was gonna leave because that's just how my brain was working. I was like, I got to get out of here, and I wasn't even there yet. So we take the ride there. It didn't take too long because I think it was realistically now that I think about it, it wasn't that far away. But in my brain, we were going to like the ends of the earth because I just didn't want to be there. Um, but so when I got there, they got me settled in, and I think the first thing I did was meet with the counselor that was going to be with me throughout the whole time. Which, by the way, I think I had like three different counselors. Not that any of them was better than the other; they were all great. Most of them just moved on to other things. Throughout my time there, because I was there for a while. Um, so I think I met with my counselor. Then they set me up in my room. It was a four-man room, and and then I think yeah, they set me up in my room, and I was just so uncomfortable because I was like, man, I really don't want to be here. Why can't I just leave and go do what I want to do? Because unlike a lot of people there, I wasn't mandated there. I didn't have to be there. And that's what I was thinking. But what kept me from leaving was, the fact that I'm going to get 3 square meals a day, and I don't have to worry about sleeping in like a house that I could probably get arrested for being in. Excuse me. So I wound up not leaving. That's pretty much what kept me there for the first, little bit. Um, I mean, but yeah, at first I mainly stayed to myself and just read books to pass the time because I didn't really talk to anybody because I was just in my own head. Um, you know, the facility itself was huge. It was like 3 floors. There was like, I don't know, I want to say like 12 rooms upstairs and like another like 12 rooms downstairs. And then the cafeteria was in the basement. Um, so yeah. So every day, this is how we would go every day. We would get up, get ready for the day, like brush your teeth and stuff. People are like, "Hurry up, get out of the bathroom," and it was hilarious. If you I look back on it and it was just really funny. So we get ready and then we go to I don't forget what we called it, but it's basically the main room, where we have like house meetings and group meetings, and so we go and then we pretty basically we just wait there until um the kitchen crew and the chef are ready downstairs for people to come and get breakfast. So after we eat breakfast, and then after we eat breakfast, we go back up, and then it's time to get your assignments for cleaning because the motto was it's our house, so we got to keep it clean. Um, so everybody would have a different chore pretty much. You either like mop the hallways or you clean help clean the main room, or you clean upstairs in the hallway, or the bathroom upstairs. There's always something to do. Like there's always something to do. And then after that, I think the counselors would go around and inspect it to make sure it was done right. And at first I didn't get it. I was like, why the hell do we have to do this? Um, but in retrospect, it helps to bring some structure, some much needed structure to mine and other people's lives, and it makes a difference. Excuse me, it makes a big difference. So that's pretty much how I went every day. We cleaned. Well, we woke up, we ate, we cleaned, and then we did group meetings with different counselors talking about different topics. And I didn't share in group for like I don't know, for a couple months because, like I said, I just didn't want to be there, but I was there because it was convenient. Um, but fast forward like 3 months, and I kind of started taking it seriously by that point. For the most part, had started talking to people. I was making friends. I guess you could say, and I was also just kind of rediscovering who I actually am without the drugs. Um, I mean, I was still like getting in trouble in the program because it was at the campus we were on was a non-smoking campus, so we couldn't smoke cigarettes on the grounds, but we would still sneak outside and smoke cigarettes and stuff. Um, and then so like when I would get caught, we would get put on what they call it's a learning experience contract, but we just called it being put on contract because it was a mouthful to say. And basically what that is instead of having any like free time or rec time during the day, you wake up, clean, then you eat, and then you clean, and then you go to group, and then you clean while people are at recess, and you basically just cleaning. You're cleaning all day, basically like right until you're about to go to sleep, because it's to give you time to reflect on what you did was wrong, pretty much. And some contracts last a day, some contracts last like 7 days. Depends on what you did. I think a relapse contract is like a month. It was a month or some shit like that. Excuse me. But around the 6 month mark is when I think it was around then is when I started being able to go out on my own. But it was kind of weird because I didn't really have anywhere to go. Um, like I was able to go to my friend's wife's house and like hang out there. But that's like later down the line where I could spend more time out. I think it starts with like 12 hours. They call it going on request because you have to request the time. I don't remember. I think it was only on weekends. I don't remember. But before you get the ability to go out, you start to have visitors at after like 2 or 3 months. Um, but like most of the time, I wouldn't use all my time. Like I would have my friends come pick me up, and we would hang out for a bit, and then they would just bring me back because I didn't want to impede on anybody by like being like, hey, can I sleep at your house? It was kind of weird. But I was always like that. Let's see. So I wound up getting my security license in the program. Um, but not because I was like forced to do it, but mainly it was just something that I wanted to do. Um, and but before that, I think that's yeah. Before that, I had gotten my first ever uh state ID, which it doesn't sound like a lot. It might not sound like a lot to you, but to me, it was a huge thing because in all my years, I never had a state ID or any sort of like official identification for myself because I was like I said, I was out on my own by like 17. So, it's a big thing. So I got that. I got like, you know, copies copies of all my important paperwork and it for me it was significant because these are things that like a normal person should have. So it made me feel like, okay, well, I guess I'm like a normal person now. And, feeling normal for somebody who's an addict is a big thing, because a lot of people will tell you that you're not normal. And, so that's was just some good reaffirmation that, we can all just be normal people. Because there's no real difference between you and I except for the things that we went through and how, we dealt with it. Um, but yeah, I think in 20 and I got hired at the job in like October of 2015 and then I started in November of 2015. My first day that I worked was a Black Friday. I remember it because my dumbass went and wore some straight up church shoes with heels to stand on my feet for like 12 hours. It was great. It was painful. um but so in the program I met a lot of people. Um you know, and I made friends with a lot of people, but the problem is that some people just don't make it when they get out of treatment. And I lost a lot. I lost a lot of good friends. Um, you know, that I was in the program with for like months, going on like almost a year. And it's sad, bro. It's really sad. But I think part of me, even to this day, is just continues to push on, not only for myself, because you got to do this for yourself first. But not only I push on not only for myself, but for them as well. Because no matter what happened to them, they were all good people. I remember just like hanging out, bullshitting, like sneaking out to smoke cigarettes, just playing pool and playing dominoes and playing cards and just we went to on a whole bunch of different like trips and stuff together, like Six Flags, and we just did a whole bunch of stuff, and we had a whole lot of memories. And when I found out that they passed away, it was rough. It was really rough, and it was sad. But I chose to um not relapse, but grieve in a way that was healthy and safe for myself. You know, um, it's just rough. Like it still makes me sad to this day. But I just remember, that people make mistakes, and at the end of the day, they were still really great people, every single one of them. So yeah. So from I want to say from January, no, from November to like January, not we, no, from November to January, I started saving, because I think they had told me that I'm coming up on a year soon, so I think the longest term that you can do there is like 15 months or something like that. And me, I'm realistically, I'm like shitting bricks because I felt good about the direction that I was heading in, but let's face it, bro, I'm scared because I was. It's weird because I was scared coming in and I was doing so well, and then I'm scared because I'm like, okay, I have all this structure and all this, you know, constant in my life, and once I'm out, am I going to be able to maintain it? Because statistically, a lot of people don't make it out of treatment. Um, whether it be relapse or they go back to jail or something. But a lot of people don't. Not a lot of people, because even people that I went to the program with, that I see, are doing well from what I can see. I don't know everybody's story. I don't know what everybody's actually doing, but it seems like they're doing well. Um, but statistically speaking, a lot of people don't make it after treatment, and I just didn't want to be one of those people. But everybody that I met, all my counselors were like, "You're gonna be fine because just work your program and do what works for you, and reach out, go to meetings, and just do what you can to keep yourself safe." And so we got in contact with. They got me a referral to a sober house. A sober house is essentially a halfway house where it's transitional living. Um, you leave the program, you go into there, and you still work your program, and with a semblance of just doing it on your own. And then once you're done there, you're really out in the world. Um, and that's pretty much what happened. So you know, I think they had gotten the referral, went to all their interviews, and you know and then one day they called. They were like, "Yo, your room is ready." And I think in the next week or so, I had got my completion letter, and it was a whole big thing. They helped me move my stuff from my room to my new place. They took me in the van and everything, and it was big because I never. I know, again, I know this might not seem significant to a lot of people, but to me, it was a big thing. I had never had something that, I mean, even though it was still like I was still on the lease and I was renting, it was mine. It was my first key to my first place that was mine, and it was big. It was a really, really big thing, and I just couldn't. I remember just being so happy, in a sense, after all the nerves and everything wore off. I was like, I could do this. I could do this, and not that it's super easy, but I could do it. But as you go, and as you learn what works for you, it becomes easier. Um, and the biggest thing that I struggled with, and still to this day probably still struggle with, is being afraid of change. Um, I don't like change, but I've learned to accept it because it most of the time I try to make change for the better. So there's that. And so I started living in the sober house, and I was living in there. I was working. I was just hanging with my friends. There was a curfew there. I didn't always follow curfew. I'll be honest. I didn't always follow curfew, but I was never out there doing anything crazy. If I broke curfew, I uh, it was because I would probably get stuck in on the transportation or whatever. And it is what it is. But I always managed to keep myself out of trouble. I was making meetings. I was going to outpatient, and that's pretty much what I did up until like August of that year. Um, August of that year it was awesome. I'll be frank. August of 2016 was probably one of the best months ever, like in my life, because I went on my first vacation that year, down in Florida with my buddies, and we drove down to Florida, and it was probably just one of the I don't know, it was one of the best times, and because I never did something like that before, I never went. I could never say that. Yeah, I'm going on vacation. I'm going somewhere for vacation. Um, because I was so busy all my life just being caught up in shit that I never thought something like that was possible. There's a lot of things that I've done to date now, ever since I got clean, that I never thought that I would be possible for myself. And it's amazing, and I'm super grateful, for my sobriety, for the people who helped me get here, for the people who are still here, because I still talk to people who I went to treatment with. I still talk to some of my counselors, and you know, it just helps to have people to talk to. That's one thing that was stressed really big, was having a social network, of people who you can reach out to if you're struggling, and things like that. Um, so there's that, man. And, you know, also in August of that year, I met the woman who I would come to marry and start an amazing family with. And so that's pretty much, you know, where I am. I mean, a lot's happened since 2016. Um, just once again, brand new things that I've never done. I'm a huge anime fan. I went to multiple anime conventions. I went to multiple horror conventions, and my wife introduced me to a lot of things that I've never done before, and it's great. And now I'm a dad with two kids, and being a dad is probably one of the most humbling experiences, for me, because you kind of got to learn to put people before yourself, and little tiny people who eat and poop, and or even like my oldest, she's 13. She'll be 13 next year, and I always wonder, because she gives me a hard time all the time, but my wife says to me, she's like, yeah, the reason that she gives you a hard time is because you were an asshole when you were a kid. And even though I'm like, no, that's not true. That is 1,000% true. Um, my aunt used to tell me all the time, whatever you do as a kid, your kids are going to be 10 times worse. And I think it's true. Um, but either way, I still love my children to death. And I would go to the ends of the earth and beyond for them. Um, so yeah, that's really where I am now. I just want to thank you all for coming out and, hear me ramble off. I am sorry if these videos were very long, but I just wanted to get my initial story out there. I think my following videos will be shorter, so that way you don't have to like sit around and be like, man, this is so long. Um, but let me know if you like the format, or if you think it is too long. What's a good time span for you guys? Just let me know down in the comments. Also, I'm thinking about doing maybe a live Q&A. So let me know your thoughts on that as well. It's either going to be a live Q&A, or if you guys submit questions, I'll pick out some questions and then I'll answer them in a video. I don't know. I want to try to interact with, anybody who decides they want to be a member and just watch my channel and stuff. Because, like I said before, it's not just about me. It's about all of us. I'm here to help as much as I can. Whether it be with addiction, or whether it just be with life in general. Addiction is just one facet of life. So, yeah, that's really about it. Thank you guys for coming out again. And, yeah, see you in the next one. Ciao.